So Coffeezilla just appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience today, and it's pretty impressive. If you're not aware of who Coffee is, he essentially does exposés or deep dives into financial scams, crypto scams, and he most recently completely blew up on YouTube after he did a 3-part series on Logan Paul's most recent Crypto Zeus. Not too long ago, Coffeezilla was sitting at a little bit over 1 million subscribers. Now he has over 2 million subscribers and just did a podcast with Joe Rogan. The entire episode was interesting. They talked about things that he has already covered, and then they talked about Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo drama, which was pretty interesting.
What has been the reaction? Like, what has been the most visceral or violent reaction to what you've done and exposed?
I think the biggest story we probably ever broken was either the FTX stuff, but that was already kind of going on. It's probably the Logan Paul story, the Crypto Zoo saga. That was a case where, you know, it's just the classic influencer greed story where this guy launches an NFT project, does millions upon millions of dollars in sales, and delivers nothing.
Now, I'm pretty sure that Joe Rogan did know about the entire drama between Coffeezilla and Logan Paul, so him bringing it up like that, it's pretty funny. And also, the fact that Coffeezilla made it to Joe Rogan so quickly is mind-blowing. Is maybe Joe Rogan trying to lay the groundwork for an upcoming Logan Paul episode and letting him have the last word? Or is maybe Joe Rogan trying to protect himself by having Coffeezilla on so that he doesn't talk negatively about Joe Rogan? Obviously, I'm kidding, but it is pretty impressive. And to be fair, Coffeezilla does deserve that. He has been covering way bigger topics back then. For example, he did a very good job covering the entire FTX situation before it even blew up, to the point that he actually talked to the main guy, the Sam Bankman-Fried dude, and it was pretty interesting. But it wasn't until now with this whole Logan Paul thing that it just blew him up and took him to a whole nother level.
So let me back up then. So
Okay.
Logan Paul is popular influencer. You know who he is.
Sure.
So he, along with a lot of influencers, got really interested in like the crypto space. And he had done a coin before that called Dink Doink, which was abandoned shortly after he promoted it. People got invested, goes to zero, right? And he says, well, that's not my project. That was my buddy's project. And then like a month later, he's like, I actually do have a project, excited to announce it. It's called Crypto Zoo. And the idea is the eggs will then hatch into animals that will earn passive zoo tokens. So you can buy eggs with zoo tokens, and then the eggs will passively earn you zoo tokens. Does that make sense?
No.
Well, don't worry. You're kind of actually caught up. So these zoo tokens were basically this passive income. You know, you basically invest up front, and then you're sort of getting the tokens back out, which you can then sell, I guess. And people immediately buy in. $3 million in NFT sales, tens of millions of dollars in the tokens itself, the zoo tokens. People are so excited about it because it's Logan Paul. And he says this is his project. He's putting his name behind it, his backing behind it, and he's a great marketer. I mean, you got to give the guy credit where credit is due. He's a tremendous marketer.
Joe Rogan was trying to be fair to Logan Paul and trying to defend him a little bit or trying to be devil's advocate, but it just pushed Coffeezilla to dive in even deeper, because anybody that hears that clip or that interview will know that at the very least, Logan Paul is an unethical business person or unethical YouTuber. And back then when he made that promise or the apology video, it wasn't the best look because he uploaded it to an alternate channel that I don't think he even uses or has used in a while. And then people just heard the word sorry and then moved on.
And when I talked to him, you know, there's just sort of this feeling of, he's like, I just don't want to think about this. Like, I don't want to be, you know, he wants to focus on Prime, which is successful. He doesn't want to be bothered with the victims of the scheme that he ultimately thought of in the first place.
So it's still is it possible that he's just gathering the money or working out a way to do it legally where it makes sense?
It is. I want to say it's possible. We just don't know, and it's just sort of like when you promise people refunds. Like the longer you wait, you know, the less people are actually going to take that refund. So I don't know if he's doing it because he wants less people to get the refund. He probably is busy, but my thought is a transgression of this magnitude where you're playing with people's money and livelihoods, you cannot take it lightly. And that's one of the things is these influencers got into this crypto space. I don't think they fully appreciated they're now dealing with financial investments, and it's not a joke.
Now, Coffeezilla bringing up the lawsuit to Joe Rogan is pretty funny because back then, Logan Paul had a massive backlash from his response to Coffeezilla and for everything that had happened. At some point, Logan Paul threatened to sue Coffeezilla, which was just the worst move possible. He obviously backtracked and apologized for doing so, but it was already too late for that. And overall, it just wasn't a great look for Logan Paul. But anyways, props to Coffeezilla for actually saying what he said on the Joe Rogan Experience, even after being threatened by Logan Paul before.
Is it still around?
So they say they're going to go back and fix it now. So Logan, after being not involved for like a year, as soon as my video comes out, he goes, damn, what a coincidence. Like, I've been working on it. Like, I was going to, make it, like, launch it. In reality, he hadn't touched it for a very long period of time. Come to find out, he had hired basically criminals who were selling on the back end. I don't know what his thing was. I think he realized, like, it's not going to be that successful. Let me move on. I think his mentality was, let me just move on, right? The problem, though, is you have millions of dollars of investment in a thing that you promoted. So my story was basically showing the victims of the scheme, and then in response, he's like, well, I'm going to sue you for that.
He said he's going to sue you.
Yeah, he said, I'll see you in court. And then the backlash against him was so severe that he releases a video saying, thank you, Coffeezilla, for showing at the world what happened. And I appreciate it. I responded out of anger, but I'm going to make things right. I'm going to fix the game to what it was supposed to be, and I'm going to pay back $1.7 million. I'm committing $1.7 million to anyone who bought an NFT can get a refund. There's two issues with it. Number one, which is that the NFTs were only a small part of the sale. They actually weren't even half. Because people bought these tokens. So the people who bought tokens get nothing. He's offering, this refund on the NFTs. The other problem is he hasn't refunded the NFTs. I've actually reached out to him twice. It's been like over a month since he's done this. So he said he's going to do it. And then the Discord, he's posting in this little chat room with the investors. After he said he was going to do it, he's posted nothing. There's no way to get a refund right now. So I keep asking him, like, hey, you promised $1.7 million to these investors. They're all waiting. It's been over, I think it's almost been 2 months now, and there's nothing. So it's like, he says that he's refunding people, which sounds great for PR, and then it's just like radio silence. So what I'm ultimately looking for is some accountability from these guys. They're happy to make money from the endeavors. They're happy to potentially make millions of dollars from these, different projects they're spinning up. But the second accountability is asked for, you can't reach them.
Either way, like we mentioned before, nothing has changed or will change for Logan Paul, because as long as somebody keeps making content that other people will enjoy and watch, they are never really truly canceled. And don't get me wrong, I was not expecting that, nowhere near that, because to be honest, I don't feel bad for the people that lost money through Logan Paul. That's just how I feel. But at the very least, it's good to see that a massive influencer or YouTuber like Logan Paul can be held accountable, or you can try to hold them accountable, even if you are a way smaller YouTuber in comparison to them. And all of that can be done through hard work, great research, and amazing storytelling skills like Coffeezilla has. So once again, props to Coffeezilla for everything that he has done. And saying that on Joe Rogan, what he said about Logan Paul has to push Logan to actually do something about it.
So is it well, I would assume Logan's a very busy guy. And
sure.
I would assume that he probably didn't come up with this on his own.
Logan kind of spearheaded the idea. And he says he spearheaded the idea.
So it was his idea.
Yeah.
And so he's working with someone, right, that probably assured him that this would work?
My feeling is ultimately, no matter what happens, like when you take people's money, that's what I'm trying to on my show, I'm trying to tell these influencers, when you take people's money, it's different. When you tell them you're going to make them money and you get into the financial investment game, your responsibility is different. You can't just always pass the buck to it was a guy that's not that trustworthy. It's all right, that might be true, then go fix it.
Once again, the aftermath for Logan Paul was not tragic at all. They did have a slight drop in subscribers and views for 1 month. They had a lot of dislikes for the episodes in which they addressed the entire drama, negative comments and all that stuff, but that was about it. If anything, Logan Paul is a genius when it comes to this whole YouTube thing and how to approach situations like that. Because again, we've talked about this before, but Logan Paul has gone through massive controversies and is able to just write him out. Since then, he has landed a massive sponsorship deal with Prime and the UFC, and his numbers on YouTube are doing great. Literally nothing has changed. But for Coffeezilla, things did change for the better. He had a massive spike in subscribers and monthly views for a little bit. Things are starting to level out, but at the end of the day, he gained so many subscribers, and obviously it's now on the Joe Rogan Experience, which I think is still a big deal, especially for a smaller YouTuber, if you want to call him that now. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel to support. Dislike if you didn't like the video. But that is all we have for today. See ya.